Hi everyone, I'm back with video number 3. This time I want to talk to you about your image and possibly where you can go to see the different types of venues that you can read in. So perception is everything, and don't let anybody tell you any different. You can be any kind of reader you want to be, but if you're going to do fairs and festivals or any other type of professional reading, perception is going to be very important. You need that professional image if you want to be successful, if you want people to trust that you are a professional who knows what you're doing. So everything from your booth or your space setup to your attire becomes very important. And so does your marketing materials, for that matter, and how you structure your pricing and how you display that in your space. So of course, this is more about fairs and festivals, right, than it is the other type of reading. I can't tell you how many times I have walked the aisles of fairs and festivals and seen all of these otherwise, pretty booths and very neatly and nicely and professionally dressed readers. And I can't figure out what the hell they're doing or how much they're charging. They have everything is teeny tiny, or it is not clear, or they have a list of 18 different things that they can do for you, but with no prices attached. Most people are not going to want to commit to having to walk up and either look stupid or commit themselves to having to talk to you by asking you, what are you doing here? What can I get from you, and how much is it going to cost? They're going to stand back in the middle of the aisle, and they're going to just, assess from there whether or not they understand what you're doing. And if there's nothing to pull them into your booth, they're going to keep walking. Now, for me, I have I have two signs, but I have one on my tabletop that says tarot reading, $40. There you go, cash or credit. So they know that I'll take a credit card if they don't have enough cash. They know how much I'm charging and what I'm doing. It's really kind of important to have that. Now, what kind of place would you like to market your reading? I have a video. It's just a 2.5-minute video to music that goes through like 20 some different venues that maybe there are one or two in there that you have not thought of before to market your services to, that you might find more interesting, or maybe a better fit for you than getting out and doing fairs and festivals. So go watch that video, and I will talk about some of those that I had, and plus some more that are not in that video, in my next video, number 4. Now, when you find some venues that you really like, do some advance work. So if it is a marketplace, weekly or monthly, go to one or two of them. If it is an annual event, go this year in preparation for doing it next year. Okay, if it's a psychic fair thrown by an event planner, then go to one or two of their events and take pictures. Because when you get home, the things that drew you to snap that picture will be the things that you will want to do for your booth, because you want to draw people in. And what drew you may draw somebody else, right? Okay, so what are you looking for? I have some notes. I don't want to miss anything here. First, it's the setup. You want to see how people are set up. Do they have tents? Do they not have tents outside? What kind of tables do they have? What kind of weights do they have weighing down their tents so they don't blow away? My first winery, they did not put us up against the bilter where there was a shelter. They actually put us out by the fields where the wind that day was horrendous. We parked our motorhome behind our tent and had to tie it to it to keep it from blowing away. So you want to be aware of those things. Okay. Also, where would you want to reserve a spot? Do they have live music where you want to reserve it a block away? Do they have food vendors with really big, loud, noisy generators? You don't want to be by them either. Do they have if it's a street festival, do they have other people doing what you do? Talk to the event planner and make sure that your reading booth is distanced from somebody else's. And again, keep a notebook of these things because you're going to want to remember it, right? Just a little composition book that you can say, hey, here's my future fairs and festivals ideas book. I happen to like printing off whatever the flyer is for that venue, offline. And then I write all my notes on the back of it, and I just keep it in a folder, future events, so that I have all that information, including talking to the event planners and finding out, how much is it, how many people attend every year, how many vendors do you have. So, by the way, I want you to know throughout this series, I will be using psychic fairs, holistic and wellness events, woo-woo events interchangeably. So to me, they all mean the same thing. Okay, so I also want you to notice when you're out there doing your advance work, are other readers, be it inside or outside events, are other readers selling product? And if they are selling product, let me see, if they are selling product, are they manning the booth by themselves and trying to read and sell product? Or are they, do they have a wrangler, which is a person that you bring along to help you, set up, tear down, work your booth? Wranglers can be anything from your children to your husband to, your sister to whatever. But I just don't personally see how I could concentrate and give somebody a good reading while I'm watching my table to make sure nobody's stealing anything, or to make sure that they're, to stop and have to take their money. If somebody was reading and I wanted something on their table, I'm not going to stand there for 15 minutes waiting to buy it. Well, I guess it depends on what it is, right? But I don't want to do that. So I would probably just move on, or I'll just come back, right? And then never come back. You just don't get around to it. So I think that it's something to consider, and certainly in the beginning, don't try to multitask too much. Get settled in and figure out what you can do. Now, my friend Katrina, who I mentioned in the last video, she sells cards in her booth, and she has a lot of them, and she sets them out on the table. They're all $25 a piece. She has a little box there, and people are on the honor system. If she's reading, then you just put your $25 in the box and take what cards you want and leave. And frankly, I think she's very generous to do that. I wouldn't dare. I don't know. I guess I just don't trust people enough to do that. But also, I'm sure she watches out of the corner of her eye what's going on. I just think it would be a real distraction. So you decide, how you want to do that. Okay. All right. So not only are they selling, and do they have a wrangler? Oh, one other thing. If you do decide to have a wrangler, realize that some people want to bring their best friend, their daughter, somebody in, their husband, whatever, somebody in with them into the booth. So sometimes when you're reading, you've got two people in there. So you need to make sure if you do bring a wrangler, or even if you don't, you have room for 3 of you for sure, and possibly 4 if you have a wrangler. Your environment is very important, as I've said, and it's going to mean that you need to make an investment in your business if you're going to be successful. I am covering that in a couple of videos from now, specifics about how you can outfit your booth to look the most professional, or at least how I did mine, and where you can find my resources. So as I mentioned before, you need to set yourself up for success. And not only do you do that by, the look that you provide, the professional look that you provide, but also by investing in your business, investing in yourself. So if you are just starting out reading at fairs and festivals where you need to move it along, right, then you should probably maybe work with a mentor or find someone to help you practice. There are a lot of people out there that are willing to do that. Maybe you have a friend or a family member who will sit and help you go through that. I like to do practice timings, and I have actually, I have a Zoom in my Etsy shop where I help people do that. So if you're interested, you can find me there. But do make sure that you invest in yourself, and make sure that you get your timings down as you're looking for events. That we are not reading for somebody, that time is gone, and the money for that time is gone forever. So you really do want to set yourself up for success. So get your timings down on your readings. It'll be very important. I also want to talk to you about your clothing. Invest in that too. When I do the Minnesota Psychic Fair and Wisconsin Psychic Fair circuits, it's usually in the early spring and late fall, and so it's cooler. I wear a black turtleneck and I wear black leggings, and then you can call them kimonos, you can call them dusters, with suns and moons and stars and something, festive that's sophisticated yet very woo-woo looking, right? And people do all kinds of things like that. There's a gal named Lily in my circuit, and she is known as the Hat Lady. She wears a different hat every single time. Then there are Cindy and her sister, a couple of angel readers. They drape themselves in pink sequins and flowered wreath headbands, and that's what people know them for. Then there was the fairy. Oh my God, this young girl, and she had fairy ears, and she dressed in black tights and turtleneck, and she wore big fairy wings. She didn't have anything else in her booth, but by God, she drew people. It was amazing. I've also seen people wearing ratty-ass t-shirt and jeans too. Now, sometimes you get into a venue. I have one right now that I've just started that's kind of dirty and dusty, but no matter, you still need to show your professionalism. So the people wearing the ratty t-shirt and jeans, I just don't see a whole lot of business at their booths. So it's something to consider. Remember what I said about professionalism and perception being everything? Let's talk for a minute about price. Let's say you have a $10 reader and a $50 reader side by side. Who do you think is going to get the most business? No, let me take that back. Who do you think is going to make the most money? I guess it depends on who gets the most business, right? Okay. So let's think about this. The $10 reader might be a far better reader than the $50 reader, but perception will win out every time. People will think because the $50 reader is charging 5 times as much that they are 5 times better, and they will go and flock to that $50 reader. This poor $10 reader will have to do 5 times the business to make the same amount of money as the $50 reader. So you don't want to underprice yourself. You want to I like to tell people that just by the fact that you're there, you're a professional if you're charging, and that you should be kind of commensurate with what other people are charging. So as you do your advanced work, look and see what other people are charging. I am not the most expensive reader in my group. I am also not at the low end either. I am probably, I would say, we have, in the circuit that I do, we have $30 to $60 readers, and I charge $40 at the psychic fairs. I charge $40 now at the street festivals. When I do marketplaces, I tend to charge $30, and wineries, I charge $50 because they have a higher level clientele with more money, that kind of thing. All right, I am, let me see, have I hit everything I wanted to talk to you about today? I think I have. I want to keep this short because the last one was far too long. I get it. I'm not going to do that to you anymore. But in the meantime, the next video number 4, I'm going to be covering preparing. Sorry about that. I'm going to be covering preparing your space and, dealing with the fear of reading in public. Okay? Until then, I'll see you next time. Bye.